Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Lareba. So, the previous group presented about pre-modernism, modernism, and post-modernism. So, what we know about modernism is all about civilization. So, my group is going to focus on two civilizations, which are the ancient Mesopotamia and that of Egypt. So I'll be presenting about the historical background and geography of Mesopotamia. The word Mesopotamia is formed from the ancient words meso, meaning between or in the middle of, and potamos, meaning river. Situated in the fertile valleys between Tigris and Euphrates rivers, Mesopotamia is said to host the beginnings of human civilization. Its history is marked by many important inventions that changed the world, including the concept of time, mathematics, the wheel, sailboats, maps, and writing. Talking about the geography, Mesopotamia is in the southwest of Asia, located in the region now known as the Middle East, modern-day Iraq, Kuwait, Turkey, and Syria, including parts of the lands around the eastern Mediterranean Sea and part of the Fertile Crescent. Mesopotamia is made up of two different regions, the northern and the southern Mesopotamia, each with its own geography. Northern Mesopotamia is made up of hills and plains, while southern Mesopotamia is made up of barren plains. The land in the northern part of Mesopotamia is quite fertile due to the seasonal rains and rivers flowing from the mountains. The early settlers farmed the land and used timbers, metals, and stones from the mountains. On the other hand, the land in the southern part is not that fertile, so early settlers had to irrigate the land along the banks of the rivers in order for their crops to grow.
Okay, so my name is Ayla Nurin binti Ahmad. So next I will be presenting about the civilization of Mesopotamia and the technology invented in that time. Mesopotamian civilizations. It will cover about religions, architecture, art and culture, science, government, language and writing, society, technology, and laws. Religion. The Sumerian in ancient Mesopotamia were polytheistic. They worship many different gods. They also have at least 7 gods. Some of them are god of storms, goddess of fertility, gods of wind, and god of sex. Architecture. Some of the well-known buildings in ancient Mesopotamia. First are ziggurat, which is the temple, Babel Tower, hanging gardens, and houses for the citizens. Art. Sculptured figure in stone and clay is form of art used in Mesopotamia. Mesopotamian sculpture often depicts animals as well as mythical creatures. Others show god and goddesses as well as sprites and worshippers. The literature is written in cuneiform script. The best known piece of Mesopotamian literature is Gilgamesh epic. Science, mathematics, and astronomy. Some of the contributions of Mesopotamia towards science, mathematics, and astronomy are calendar, zodiac, and Pythagoras theorems. Government. The Mesopotamians created the government that was a combination of monarchy and democracy. The assembly was the main control of it all. The king even had to have permission from the assembly. Language. They are divided into two distinct groups, those who spoke Sumerian and those who spoke Semitic. Writing. The first script to be used was based on picture known as pictography, and the second one is cuneiform, which is wedge-shaped writing. Social. The population of these cities were divided into social classes which, like society in every civilization throughout history, were hierarchical. These classes were the king and nobility, the priest and priestesses, the upper class, the lower class, and the slave. Law. One of the major contributions of ancient Mesopotamia to government practice was the development of written law codes. The most famous of these is the Code of Hammurabi. However, this code drew on earlier code going back to the Sumerian city-state of 3rd millennium BC. Invention and technology. Some of the contribution of Mesopotamia to the world is writing, hydraulic engineering, mill, metalworking, mass-produced bricks, textile mills, and mass-produced pottery.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Husna Atika binti Kasim, and I will presenting about the history, background, and the geography of ancient Egypt.
The history of ancient Egypt. Egypt is a country in North Africa on the Mediterranean Sea. Egypt has been a unified region for over 5,000 years, and there is evidence of settlement prior to that. Egypt was controlled by a ruler named Mena, and he began the cycle of rule by Egypt's various pharaohs. Egypt is divided into three kingdom periods: Old Kingdom, Middle Kingdom, and New Kingdom. During the Old Kingdom period, Egypt was largely unified as a single state. It gained in complexity and expanded militarily, building monumental architecture such as the Great Pyramid and the Sphinx in Giza, and temples for different gods. Egyptians also began to build ships constructed of wooden planks tied together with rope and stuffed with reeds, to trade goods such as ebony, incense, gold, copper, and Lebanese shida, which was particularly important for construction projects along maritime roads. The Middle Kingdom saw Egypt unified again as kings found ways to take back power from regional governors from the Middle Kingdom era forward. Egyptian kings often kept well-trained standing armies. The New Kingdom period of Egyptian history began with the expulsion of the Hyksos from Egypt and the restoration of centralized political control. This period was Egypt's most prosperous. Hatshepsut, Egypt's most famous female ruler, established trade networks that helped build the wealth of Egypt. The geography of Egypt. Egypt is located in northern Africa and shares borders with Gaza Strip, Israel, Libya, and Sudan. Cairo is the glorious capital of Egypt, the cradle of civilization and the beacon of religion. Egypt was divided into two regions, Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt. The climate in Egypt: days are commonly warm or hot, and nights are cool. Egypt has only two seasons: a mild winter from November to April and a hot summer from May to October. Egypt is divided into four major parts: first, the Nile Valley and Delta; two, the Western Desert; three, the Eastern Desert; and four, the Sinai Peninsula. The Black Land was the fertile land on the banks of the Nile. The ancient Egyptians used this land for growing their crops. This was the only land in ancient Egypt that could be farmed because a layer of ridge. The Red Land was the barren desert that protected Egypt on two sides. These deserts separate ancient Egypt from neighboring countries and invading armies. They also provided the ancient Egyptians with a source for precious metals.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Aisha Mazan. So I will talk about the ancient technology and innovation in Egyptian. Egyptian was one of the great civilizations that invented many useful and spectacular technology which is still being used until today. The oldest mathematical text from the ancient Egypt is the Moscow Papyrus, which being discovered around 2000 BC. The pharaoh surveyor used a measurement based on body parts to measure the land and building in very early in Egyptian history. Clock and calendar. The Egyptians were among the first to divide their days into parts. They used moving shadows to enable people to separate the days into parts, starting at noon. Later on, they invented the first portable shadows clock, which was so lightweight that people could carry it with them. Library. The most ancient library was the Royal Library of Alexandria in Egypt. It aims to establish a center of learning and gather all information in one place. It contains more than 1 million papyrus scrolls on the subject of literature, history, law, mathematics, and science. The Edwin Smith Papyrus is a medical text on surgery from ancient Egypt written around 1600 BC. It shows Egyptians invented medical surgery. The first instruments were found within the tomb of God, which known as the physician of palace and keeper of secret of the king. Mummification. The ancient Egypt created a process called mummification with aim to preserve body from decomposing after death. It is important to preserve the body because the spirit will return. All the internal organs were carefully removed from the body and keep it in the jar with palm oil and water. Archaeological discoveries suggest that Egyptian hieroglyph may be the oldest form of writing, dating from 3300 BC. Although their writing changed over time, they preserved the hieroglyph picture in original form. Papyrus sheets were the earliest material used as paper as well as pyramid. The ancient pyramids are definitely the most astonishing structure in the world and are geometric shape with a square base and 4 equal triangular shape. They were built primarily as dome for the king and religious temple.
Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Adila Hadi and I will present to you the similarities and the differences between ancient Egypt and ancient Mesopotamia. And I also will tell you what the benefits of the civilization of these two countries to our world nowadays.
The similarities of ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia. Both emerge in the valleys of great rivers, polytheistic in belief, have written language, and have temples. Have slavery system, monarchy system in politics, and trade in business. The differences of ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia. Nile River in Egypt is predictable river, while Tigris and Euphrates River in Mesopotamia are much less predictable. Cities in Egypt were less important, while cities in Mesopotamia important for protection. Temple in Egypt is pyramid, while in Mesopotamia, ziggurat is the temple. They have mummification practice in Egypt, while in Mesopotamia, no mummification practices. In Egypt, hieroglyphics is their written language, while in Mesopotamia, cuneiform as written language. How were Egypt and Mesopotamia ancient affect world today? Papers. Egyptians started making paper using papyrus tree. The using of paper made from papyrus tree can be seen on monuments left by them. Medicine. Mesopotamians had documented 500 types of medicine with the steps of using. Lastly, astronomy. Mesopotamians started the ability to know the movement of moon, stars, and sun. They also started using the calendar that have 12 months in a year. That's all. Thank you.
Hi, so I will conclude our topic today, which is the ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia. So, with our topic, we know the history of Egypt and Mesopotamia. We know their background, where they came off. We know their civilization. We know their development. For example, we know what, how did they develop their country, how they make the changes of their country to be the better. For example, they came out with the medicine, with the calendar, with the road that's still using till today. it's really benefit us nowadays, as we can use their ideas of making the calendar, we can use their ideas of making the medicine that can develop our country nowadays, that can develop our world today. So what I can conclude here, that the history is really important to us, because the history is something that we can get learn from them. We can get learn from their ideas. We can develop more. We can use their ideas to develop more about our country nowadays, because they have ideas that very good, and it really help us to make the changes, the development of our world nowadays. That's all. Thank you.